they lose their power. And so we didn't intend to start the show this way this evening, but the message came to us only this afternoon, and so we have to stop and remember him. And what we want to remember him. Yes, we're sad, but I want you to take away from this his courage in speaking up. He was on brass tacks. He was on in the news speaking about the water, the brown water in St. Lucie. He was on this show. He was walking through St. Lucie. I saw him there, and he was handing out water to the residents, and he was commended, even on Starcom, for being the only political representative there at that town hall meeting in St. Lucie. And again, I say this is somebody who lost their fear, who did not speak with fear and spoke truth to power. And as we remember him, I want to read you the names. And if Dave can quickly put up the pictures of some of these that I'm going to remember right now. And we're going to give them their flowers while they are alive. Here are some that I call, these are like prophets. These are like prophets. And these, when I say prophets, don't think Bible. Think people who speak the truth regardless of the consequences. People like Lumumba Batson. Let's honor him tonight that he's alive. Well, how about that? How about a Fred Corbin? How about a Winston Clark? How about a Winston Clark who led a march? One of the largest, it was called a walk. He found a way around the law, and he did a walk, and it was the largest that we've ever had in this modern time. Winston Clark, we salute you. How about Caswell Franklin, who is very busy right now with the union representing people in Barbados? We want to give Caswell his flowers that he's alive. He's alive. And as you go through, you can always put the names of different people and put them in the chat. Put the names in the chat who decided that they are going to lose their fear like Mr. Toppin and speak truth to power. How about a young lady by the name of Maxine McLean? Maxine McLean stepping up to serve her country. How about a young man by the name of Glenn Murray? How about Glenn Murray tonight? Let's give them the flowers now that they're alive. Let's if you know their numbers, every now and again send them a message and say, Mr. Murray, thank you for stepping up. Thank you. What about a tall man from the East called Nigel Newton? How about Mr. Newton? When last, those of you who know him, say, Mr. Newton, thank you for stepping up. We're not going to wait until they're gone. We're going to give them their flowers now. What about somebody from a dumpling from the diaspora called Adrian Hines? How about Mr. Adrian Hines? When you see him online, do you send him a little message? Because he's always on social media. Send him a little message and say, Mr. Hines, thank you. Have you said that lately? Yes, Tobias, you're correct. You're correct. Guys, what about another one from the diaspora who is now with us in Barbados a little bit, Michelle Daniel? How about Michelle? Who took up and just went to Dominica with me and went up to to Washington. How about how about another one? I don't know if I can call her name right now on here, but another person. She she has, oh, let's see her, SH. That's what I will say. S the first name and H, another one in the background working hard on behalf of Barbados, hailing from Connecticut. Her and her husband, HH, I think. How about them? How about Rose Corbin? How about Rose Corbin, who does these very detailed presentations? When was the last time you said thank you to Rose Corbin? Huh? How about Stephen Strickland, who is going to join us tonight to talk about pensions? Answer all of your questions. So very educated on this matter, and in a professional way. He sent me his PowerPoint being prepared by another one that I can't call the name of that person. I can't give out all my people, but you know who you are. Take your flowers tonight, madam. You helped to prepare those wonderful PowerPoints. Take your flowers. You're a loyal son and a daughter from this soil, and we honor you tonight. We're giving flowers tonight. How about a man called Victor Lewis? Would we have known about Joe's River outside of Victor Lewis? Let's give him some flowers. When you see him in the supermarket, anywhere, you give him a shake hand and a hug and say, thank you, Victor Lewis. We're not going to wait until they pass. How about a man called Thierry Gittens, a young man called Thierry Gittens, who gave such a wonderful presentation the other night and all the other times whenever he came on? How about a girl called Connie Hunt? Huh? How about a Janine Butcher, which we haven't seen her a little bit. She was out of the island, but who would have come on here and presented and moderated on my behalf? Another young lady who's not, but she'll be coming back next week, she told me. How about Mr. Don Leacock, who went to Washington and presented and represented us in Washington, and who comes on with these very pointed presentations. Very intelligent young man. Do you send him a little link when you see him on Instagram? Do you put something in his DM to say thank you, Don? Give him the flowers now. Give him the flowers now. Yes? How about Timon? How about Timon Howard? You remember Timon Howard? Who floored that lawyer, that 200,000 US lawyer in Washington? You remember him? You remember Timon Howard? Who remembers Timon Howard? Timon, we celebrate you and we honor you tonight. How about Kemar Stewart, who was on here with us sometimes 4 times a week, 3 times a week, on in the latter part 1 time a week? Kemar, we say thank you. Thank you, Kemar Stewart. Did I mention Caswell Franklin? Yes, I think I did. Right? How about Bongo Lights? Yes? How about Bongo Lights? And, he and Lumumba put on their videos all the time. And I cannot forget our Monday host. I was leaving him for last. Our Monday host, none other than the brave Dr. Ferdinand Nichols. Every time he comes on here, I'm telling you, it's a brave act for Dr. Ferdinand. And he does it with a sincere heart. It's a brave act for him, because I tell you, a lot of people in the church world, they don't They don't recognize what he's doing, and they don't see it as godly. Do you know what it is for a pastor to mount a platform like this? A lot of you take it for granted, you know. Dr. Ferdinand Nichols, every time that he mounts this platform, he's defying the religious people who said, he tells him, you should not do that. Don't associate with that show. He's a brave man. I can tell you that. Yes. And who else am I? Mr. John Knox. Mr. John Knox, who wasn't well, but they didn't say I could say anything, but I didn't say anything. So I didn't say anything to you all. You know, Mr. David Gill, who calls in sometimes. Yes, former Senator David Gill. Right? And we're going to get to the opposition leader. We're going to get to him. Don't worry. I started off by, you know, those who are consistently coming on. Apostle Canterbury, another one who defies the odds and comes on. Tonight, we remember them. We remember them. Lynette Eastmond in the beginning, who was here. Yes. 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 Dr. Tall. Yes. Yes. Grenville Phillips, thank you for braving it. Somebody told me today, Marcia, it's not easy to get people to come on the Marcia Week show. And that's why I'm in the spirit of giving flowers to Alvin Toppin. I want to do it in this lifetime because it's not easy. Colin Spencer, who says to me, Marcia, I can't get people to come on here. Kid Sight, who comes on, and a lot of the other Calypsonians, they will not come on the show. They're scared. But to all of you who speak truth to power, yes, I want to give a special thank you to the brave, powerful, courageous Ralph Thorne. It took a lot of courage to decide that he was going to cross. It took a lot of courage to cross and then to go every week to sit across from them and face them. Have you ever sat and thought about that? When was the last time you prayed for Mr. Thorne? Do you think it's easy? It's not easy. I can tell you that. It's not easy. It's not easy. Yes, you mentioned Fred Corbin and the two senators. What about those two senators? Senator Ryan Walters and the president, Senator Andre Worrell. You think it's easy to go inside there with them? You remember how they shouted down Ryan Walters when he went in there first? You think that is easy? I want you to stop and think about it. When you get sad and you shed a tear for Mr. Alvin Toppin, remember hearing his voice on the radio. Remember hearing his voice in the news and on Brass Tacks and on the Marcia Week show. And on his Facebook as he put up videos. Remember how he stood up for people. He is a regular person like you and I, a DJ. Sold a businessman and insurance, selling insurance, etc., but decided to step up, just like Paul Paul, I can't remember his name, the other night stepped up. Kathy Weeks stepped up and come on here. And I want to say, guys, say a prayer. Those of you who believe in prayer, everybody doesn't, and I respect that. But those of you who do believe in prayer, say a prayer for all of these people. Yes, Pastor Lucille Baird. Pastor Lucille Baird. And you know, the thing about this, I see Mrs. Strickland there. Mrs. Strickland, I'm going to give you back your time, but I really want to do this tonight. I want us to understand something. You don't have to like these people. You don't have to like Mr. Thorne to recognize what he's doing, you know. You might say, I don't like him, but can't you stop and recognize what he's doing? Don't wait until the day God calls these people home, then you're going to now say how great they were. Yes. Yes. It's not even easy. And mention, you said Stephen Strickland, and he will be coming on. Yes, we mentioned, thank you, Kenneth. We did mention Mr. Stephen. Yes. Guys, I know you're grateful, but one of the things we tend to do is this. Mr. Strickland is here. I'm going to give him his time back, but I've got to say this. 2 more minutes. I'll say this. In this country, I spoke to you earlier about earlier in the week. I think today's Wednesday, so it would have been late last week, about what I call a Jezebelic a type of governance and structure in this country, where those that speak out, and I'm going to call them prophets, in the same way how Bob Marley is called a prophet. These are people who speak truth to power, who are courageous, and they stand up and they sacrifice themselves and speak out. So I call them prophets. All these names and more that you're mentioning, some of them you're mentioning, Felicia DeJohn, and all of them that you're mentioning. The powers that be in this country, what they do is this. Because the powers that be, it's Jezebelic. It's like a Jezebel power that is ruling, where, guess what? They cut off, they strangle the life out of the prophets. Meaning that people like, you saw what happened to like a Crystal Haynes. Did I honor her? Crystal Haynes, former Senator Crystal Haynes, cut off your power supply. They shut up the prophets. Bob Marley said, why they kill our prophets and we stand aside and look? You're either shut down one way or the other. That's what happens in this Jezebelic power structure here in Barbados. So that's why I say honor these people. Honor them in your parties. I see a lot of you putting up a lot of the people from the DLP. Honor them. Those of you from the DLP, send a message and honor from your political party. Use this as a time to honor those who serve among you. Yes, Trisha Watson, for her working with the Barbados Light and Power on behalf of the people of Barbados. Send a word of encouragement. Yeah? Yes. All right. So that's enough of that for tonight, before I start to get to really start to cry. And I didn't mention our family, but I just want to say, and I'm sure Dave saw all his name in the comments, and we want to honor Dave Weeks, for the sacrifice. And thank you for all of those who say thank you to me. It encourages me. And every time I get into this chair, I hear your voice and I feel your hugs and I feel your prayers. I feel your prayers. Okay. Thank you. I love you and you love me too.